Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast.
Where the supernatural gets real, baby. What does it really mean to stay energetically clean, babies? Without becoming rigid, without becoming closed, without becoming spiritually defensive. Because let me tell you something right now. Clarity, clarity, hear me out, does not require hardness. You don't have to turn into spiritual Teflon babies. You don't have to walk around scanning every room like a security guard for the unseen. And you definitely, with me, yeah, do not have to weaponize protection to feel powerful. Okay? In today's episode, we're going to talk about energetic cleanliness. I love that word. And what it is and what it isn't. How people get it twisted and how to stay clear. Babies, you want to stay clear, open, sovereign, and soft all at the same time. Because strength and gentleness, they are not enemies. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Spirit, Angels, and Guides. Oh my, I'm Tara Diana. I'm an empowerment medium, and my lovely co-host, Nancy Christine Brady, is off on a break today. So you got me, all me, for the whole episode, and hopefully that will be tolerable for you. Today we're following up with our Spirits Don't Lie. Humans Do episode. It's the one about all the filtering that gets done. And if you listen to that one, you know that we talked about distortion, where it really comes from, how humans filter spirit through ego and fear and bias and projection and all the things. And at the end of that episode, I said something that clearly wanted its own mic. We're going to talk about what it really means to stay energetically clean without that whole rigid feeling, like I said, without becoming closed, like I said, and without becoming spiritually defensive. And so that's today. And let's define some things first. What the HE double hockey sticks exactly does energetically clean mean? So for me, there was a woman I used to know that termed it, for me at least, that's when I first heard the term energetic hygiene. And energetically clear does not mean, for me personally, constant protection rituals. Right? White light is good enough. Golden sphere, all time, all day, every day, baby, do that. I am not suspicious of everyone, right? I'm not like walking around saying who's feeling off kilter today so that I don't take on their energy. I am not cutting cords every 10 minutes. I don't need to, right? Cord cutting is a big thing if you have big things happening. And declaring war on negative energy, I get it. I get it. I don't want nobody's negative energy on me, and I don't want to give my negative energy to anyone, hence the white light. Energetically clean means to me, babies, that we are regulated. Okay, that we are in control and self-aware, and you know what is yours and what is not yours, and you feel something without always having to absorb it. What is the biggest thing people talk about in this whole spiritual conundrum that we are in? Is that I took it on, I feel this, or I'm absorbing other people's things. If that's the case, babies, there's things that you can do to help you with that. Energetic cleansing and cleanliness is sovereignty. Okay, it's you being in your power, baby. And that is a thing all day, every day. It's not paranoia, right? And it's not an excuse. And let me say that again for the people in the back. Energetic cleanliness is sovereignty, not paranoia, not an excuse. Because when you are energetically clean, you don't over-identify with every emotional shift. Do you know how draining that is? Oh, because I could shift like 10 times in a matter of like 30 seconds. You don't want to assume every mood change is an attachment, because attachments are tricky things anyway, right? And then we start thinking like everything is attaching to us. You're going to end up psychologically carrying like a turtle shell on your back full of stuff that's not yours, but also that's likely not really even there. And we don't label discomfort as a spiritual attack. Again, we're talking about excuses. You can be tired. That's human. You can be deregulated. That's human too. And you can need water and a bed and a boundary. That's okay. Okay? All those things. You can need all of those things. What you don't need is an exorcism. We do not need to be running around throwing holy water on you, sprinkling salt and doing all those things that are fun when you think about it. Not for the person maybe getting it, but if you were going to do something like that. But those are things that are extreme, if you will. Right? I think that makes sense to everyone for sure. So for me, again, let's keep spirit simple. Let's keep our metaphysical work simple. Let's keep our energetic cleanliness simple. It's about awareness and regulation and responsibility, period. You are personally responsible for your aura, your personal space, babies. And here's the part that people get all upset about when I start talking about this. They do not love to hear this. If you are constantly clearing, constantly protecting, constantly defending, you might not be like clean. You may be scared. And that's a thing. And that's a thing where people will go rigid in their spiritual work. And this is where things probably get a little bit interesting for all of us when we go down this rabbit hole. Um, in my personal view, a lot of intuitive people start out open. Okay? Now hear me out. Some of you are going, "Oh, no, no, no. Most spiritual people are closed and they discover and they awaken and they grow and develop." Hear me out. Most of us start out open when we're little, wide open. Like, open to everything, spirit, energy, all the things. Hearts open, crowns open, empath sponges open. We are just taking it all in. And then life happens. And when life happens, when you start growing, when you start learning different patterns, you start to feel overwhelmed. Very human. You start to get drained. Very human. You start to feel betrayed, and you're not even sure by who, what, when, or where. And then the manipulation starts coming in. Okay? Patterns that aren't yours, emotions that aren't yours. All those things start happening. And instead of learning to be discerning with this, the easiest thing to do for most of us is to build walls. Boom, boom, boom. We put ourselves in a box and then we go ahead and call that boundaries. I call bullshit. We call them boundaries because that's the quickest, easiest thing that will come to mind. Now, listen, I love me some good boundaries. I am still working on boundaries all over the place because boundaries are important. But walls, my babies, my boos, are not boundaries. Period, hard stop. They are not boundaries. And walls are fear pretending to be wisdom. Okay? You can tell when someone has become rigid spiritually. It has a lot to do with words like I don't let anyone in my energy. I'm blocking everyone. I don't trust anyone. Most people are low vibration. Those are all words that you look at, and I've seen this in spiritual community all day, every day. And sometimes you use those wordings and they're valid. Like, I don't let anyone in my energy. I actually have a very strong boundary about who works energetically with me. So if I'm going to see an energy practitioner, there's only certain practitioners that I allow into my energy. And that's a me thing, and that's fair. And that's not walls up. That's me being discerning and saying, these are the people that I feel work well in my energy, that have my highest and best in mind. Okay. If you're talking about blocking everyone, what are you doing? What you're only going to work with spirit? You think you're only going to connect with spirit? That is not having a human experience, then, is it? I don't trust anyone. I know where that comes from because even the most spiritual of people will do you dirty, whether they recognize it or not, because it's all about perspective. Right? It's all about perspective. What resonates with one person won't resonate with another. How someone comes off to one person may be okay with another, but not okay with that person, etc., etc. And look, people are low vibration. That's not a bad thing. You get to choose if you want to chill with someone in a low vibration. And you can also give them a few little nudges to raise their vibration without causing harm, right? All of that is not clarity. What all those things I talked about, like the blocking and all those things, that's not clarity. That's contraction, right? That's, true clarity, babies, feels calm. Now I know when you're listening to me, I don't always come off calm, but I feel calm when I'm doing this work. This is a personality, right? When I'm working with spirit and I'm coming through and I'm giving messages or I'm teaching or whatever it is I'm doing when I'm working with spirit, I'm calm on the inside because my energy is clean, right? My energy feels good. I I'm not holding rigid energy because that feels tight. And when I work with spirit, I'm not feeling that. Now, in my humanness, I might have a lot of that. And again, you have the free will choice and the personal responsibility to step into that power and maneuver that in whatever capacity you do. And that might be why you go to an energetic practitioner. Sometimes it's nice not to have to do the work yourself. Can I just say that? Can I just put that out there? Sometimes it's nice to let someone else do a little bit of work on your behalf. So here's the kicker in my world. Rigidity actually makes your energy dirtier. So when you go and you place these huge, what you're calling boundaries, but in fact are really walls around you, you're not helping yourself because rigidity, I don't even know if that's a word, is reactive. Okay? It's reactive. You're doing this in a reactive way, and reactivity distorts perception. You're doing this for the wrong reasons. What you think is going to help you is actually going to hinder you in the end. So when you're rigid, you stop listening, right? You stop listening. You stop feeling nuance, and instead you are stepping into that part of your life that just is stagnant because you've stopped allowing correction. And spirit works in nuance. See if that lands for you. And clean energy versus defensive energy. Let's separate these. Okay? Because energetically clean is when you are grounded and present in the moment and you feel calm and you feel, discernment without all the drama that comes with it. And you're open. You're open, but you're sovereign. You're sitting in your power. You're there, right? And energetically defensive is when you are guarded, like no, and suspicious, like wondering what everyone's doing and what they're doing behind your back. And then you become hyper alert with that. You're like, oh, I know that person's talking about me. And your intuition is out the door at this point because you are just kind of making things up. You're reacting before listening. So they get two words out and you're like out the door and you're interpreting neutral things as threats. Again, it goes about perception. Clean energy is all about I see you, right? Whereas defensive energy says, what the heck do you want? And again, clean energy is all about, okay, that doesn't resonate for me. Fair enough. I love that. The word resonate for me is a thing. It is a feel for me. Like if it resonates, great. And I've been going through it, right? If you know, you know, I've been going through it. So I've been taking a really, really good, like 3 months where I've been like, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. And I'm safe to go back over here now. And what resonated with me once before, it's okay to let that go now. It's okay. It's okay because it's not serving me anymore. Right? So when you're sitting in that energy of self-love and self-worth and self-empowerment, hence why we talk about things like that, about why it's so important to love yourself to be able to do any kind of spiritual work, it's because energy isn't dark unless you make it dark. Clean energy is not about the white light. It's about allowing correction so you can move forward, learning. Defensive energy doubles down on the shit that you are putting out there. Belief structures that very well are tied up and tangled in your thought patterns. Now, here's the part that's probably going to sting just a little bit here. And that's okay if you cannot be disagreed with. If you cannot be disagreed with, you are not energetically clean. Now, that doesn't mean like I'm a Scorpio. So if you're coming at me, you're like, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, excuse you? Who are you talking to? I can do that, but I can also take your point of view. I may not agree with it, but I can take your point of view. And you are entitled, babies, to your point of view. If everything becomes low vibration when it challenges you, you are not energetically clean. Just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean they're a low vibrational being, babies. Period. Hard stop. I don't agree with half the things people say and do, and that doesn't mean I'm low vibration. They may think I'm low vibration, and that's on them, baby. It's all about perspective. If you cannot sit in discomfort without labeling it as a spiritual interference, you are not energetically clean. You are protecting your ego. Healthy ego is a thing, and we all should be sitting in that. But ego is ego, right? And ego protection muddles the channel faster than anything because that means you're working in your humanness and not in spirit. So you're left side of the brain instead of right side of the brain, babies. Okay, you still with me? Because the next thing I want to talk about is soft does not mean weak, period. Okay? If you are soft, that does not mean you're weak. Mm-mm. Because some of you swing from the people-pleasing empath, right? You went from being that people-pleasing empath, the one that feels everything and wants to make sure everyone's okay and everyone feels good and whatever, to spiritual warrior with a flamethrower. You're like, I've got this, my power. I just thought of He-Man. I have the power. Oh, that took me back, and that just aged me, like outstandingly aged me. Um, so you went from like being this people-pleasing empath to the spiritual warrior with the flamethrower. And can I just tell you, there is a middle ground, baby. There is a middle ground. And softness is not naivety. You're not naive. Softness, to me personally, is like regulated strength, and it can come and go. And you can be soft in one moment, and you can be a little harder some other times. When you're soft and clean, you can sit in someone else's pain without absorbing it, right? Because they're letting you. You can hear someone else's projection without swallowing it. I don't need to take on this stuff, guys. And you can feel intense energy without collapsing. And that's a thing. And I learned that a long time ago. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this work for as long as I've done, period. I've mastered how to be in my power. I've also come to the realization that your humanness matters, period. So if I have emotions where I feel like I'm being attacked and it's affecting me emotionally, that is valid. And I am not sweeping that under the rug because someone else says I'm overreacting. Are you with me? I hope so. You don't need to harden because you're going to stabilize. So you can take on what is given and you are able to move it where you need to easily and effortlessly with practice. Gotta add that in, babies. So hardness is like an armor, right? Stability is like alignment. And alignment will always feel open to you. So how do you stay energetically clean without closing off? And let's get practical here for a moment, baby, because practicality is how you're going to balance your spiritual self with your human self. Here's what actually keeps you energetically clean. One, daily self-check-in, babies. Before you blame energy, ask. Ask. Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I overwhelmed, overstimulated, emotionally triggered? Because regulation is basic and prevents 80% of spiritual misinterpretation. Okay? Remember, you are spirit. I cannot say this enough. Having a human experience, babies. Two, grounding, protection. Grounding, protection. Oh, let's make a song. Grounding, protection. Anyway, grounding first. Roots into the earth, babies. Breath into the body. Slow that nervous system down. Okay? Just slow it down. Just trust me on this. You're going to want to do it. Protection without grounding equals fear-based shielding. Said what I said. If you are not present, if you're not able to step into the protection you're putting around yourself, people will throw white light around them and have no idea what they've just done, if they've done anything. Something to ponder. 3, clear ownership, babies. ask, is this mine? Period. Validate it if it is, right? Validate it. Shift and adjust it if you need to. If it's not, do not wrestle with it, baby. Just don't pick it up. Bye. Keep on keeping on. Girlfriend, boyfriend. Keep on doing the do. 4, curiosity over assumption. Instead of this energy is bad. Oh my God, that's such a simple statement. Try, what in the holy goddess is this teaching me? Maybe don't be so dramatic, but what is this teaching me? Because clear energy navigates, babies, right? Defensive energy will attack. Okay. And I want to remind you of something. You will know when you're being attacked. Tone, how they step forward into your space, all of that. You will know. And you simply have to say, it's not mine. They can say what they say the way they have to say it, but I'm not going to accept it that way. I can listen and still hear. I can listen and still hear and not take it as a personal affront, even if they are trying to personally affront you. Fair enough? And five is let yourself be human, babies. That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. You are not meant to be energetically like sterile. Okay? You are meant to be responsive. You are meant to be in your power, period. You get to feel. You can wobble. I just wobbled for you. You can wobble. And you can choose to recalibrate all of that. Okay? And that's not failure. That's not failure. My third eye is like popping here. That's not failure. It's growth. That's you saying, I know how to work with this. I know how to maneuver myself. I'm in control of my personal space. It is. I don't need walls because I've got a beautiful golden sphere around me that's just letting things bounce off because I'm able to perceive it in the way that is correct for me. So this feels like it's been a long babble, but I want to bring clarity to the closing. And clarity does not require hardness. Can I just say that? When we want to have clarity in our space, it will come to you if you can self-trust that you can regulate and discern and be humble. Okay? So self-trust, regulation, discernment, humility, all those things allow you to have the clarity you need to be who you need to be in this moment. And when you are energetically clean, when you're practicing your energy hygiene, babies, you don't need to prove it to anyone. Not to yourself. You don't need to broadcast rituals that you are doing to prove that you are sovereign. You don't need to announce who you cut off. This isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. If you aren't chilling with someone, you don't need to even let them know. Okay? And you don't need to dramatize your spiritual work. You just need to do it. You just need to move differently. You need to focus on being that calm, centered, clear individual. The one who sits in their power. The one who says, my emotions are valid. If I feel attacked, I can shift and adjust it. If I feel I'm around low vibrational people, I can move out of the way. If I feel I'm emitting low energy, I can take a moment of breath and look at what I need to do for my own self, my self-worth, my self-love. I have that ability to do that for me because you taking care of you will help you with everything else going on around you. And here's the truth, your energy, if it feels hard, sharp, braced, that's you. That's a human thing. And you're not clean. You're defending. And that's fair, but it's exhausting. Clean energy is simple. It breathes. Okay? It breathes. Now, this might be a slightly shorter podcast because I don't have my Nan to come on here with me. But I just want to say in our last episode, we talked about how, spirits don't lie. Humans do. And lying's maybe a strong word, but I'm going to use it. And today we talked about how distortion happens, especially when we armor up. If this episode hits something for you, I want to know. Go to the Instagram. Come and join Spirit Lounge. Do all the things. I want to know. Nan wants to know. Because our sovereignty is up to us. It's not up to Spirit. Spirit will always give us the tools. It's up to us to step into it. So if this hits, sit with it. Ask yourself, right? Ask yourself, where am I clean? Where am I rigid? Where am I defending when I don't need to? Valid questions, baby. Valid questions. Growth doesn't recover from heartache. Okay? Growth doesn't come from that. Growth comes from you saying, I am enough, period. And getting rid of the self-judgment. It requires you to have awareness. And if you don't want to go deeper, into this, that's okay. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Stay grounded. Stay open, but also stay aware. And you'll do just fine. Remember, you matter. And how you take care of this, body, mind, and spirit, that matters too. So, on that note, follow us on all our platforms, give us a like, subscribe, do all the things. Let us know how you feel about our podcast. Nan and I love to hear it. And until the next time, stay divine, lovies. Okay, bye. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind the scenes fun.